Lab grown diamonds are something that's here to stay for sure. Now, let us start off with the difference between a lab grown and a natural diamond. So, basically, lab grown diamonds are diamonds that are made in lab. The process of it is you usually take a diamond crystal plate, which is like so thin. It's like square shape. We put it in a reactor and we set in the right temperature, pressure, and gas. So basically, you're creating an artificial environment in which real diamonds are made naturally. Same way in that reactor, you're creating an artificial environment, and immediately after 6 weeks, you get a rough diamond. And the composition and everything of that rough diamond is exactly the rough diamond you will find naturally on Earth.
Amazing. The price difference.
Huge. So let's say it goes down to, if a normal diamond, natural diamond necklace, let's assume is for 10 lakh rupees. A lab grown diamond necklace of same would be somewhere around 3 lakh rupees.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea.
Folks, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. I'm your host Anupam Gupta, B50 on Twitter, and this is one more in our sub-series on how businesses work. I am talking with Dr. Preeti Jain, founder of Jewels by Preeti. We are going to talk about jewels, diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and much more. Dr. Preeti, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. Thank you so much for doing this for our audience.
Thank you so much, Anupam, for having me. I'm actually very excited about this show.
I'm excited as well because this is a topic that we've never spoken about on this show at all till now. Doctor, medical career, diamonds. Walk us through. What was that about?
So you can actually say it's D to D.
Oh, nice.
Doctor to diamonds.
Okay.
So basically, doctor was a journey that started off because of my dad. So the movie Three Idiots, if you remember,
Oh, yes, of course.
that time that generation was like, मेरा बेटा या बेटी doctor या engineer ही बनेगा. So I did end up becoming a doctor, but obviously my brothers didn't end up being an engineer.
Okay.
So once I became a doctor, it was basically fulfilling his dreams. And once I finished that, I realized I'm not enjoying it.
Mm.
And I still remember I did my MBBS. And after that, I was like, maybe I do a little, I went for dermatology thinking emergencies nahi hote hain. So
Mm.
you can always, I realized that's not my passion. So I was looking for a shorter cut.
Okay.
And I did finish my dermat as well.
Wow.
Yeah. A little too late, I realized that's not my passion.
Sure.
And after finishing that, I was like, okay, fine. I think I realized that either my patients will survive or I will.
Okay.
And I wanted both of them to survive. So then I realized that this is not something that I want to pursue.
Hmm.
And coming from a business family, so my dad, he's basically into coal trading.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always heard numbers, I'd always heard business, deals going on. And it's rightly put that business never ends at 5 or 6 o'clock. That's a real thing. And in my house, also, my dad at 11 or 10 in the night, also, there used to be business calls and all those things. But I'd gotten very used to it. And so then I was like, let me start something, let me get into business now.
Mm.
And that time, my dad was very supportive. He was like, I just wanted you to have a degree so that there's a security. Now you can experiment.
Mm.
And so the interesting thing was how my company, Jules by Preeti, started. Basically, my mother, I had just designed a ring for my mom. And just for fun, I wrote Jules by Preeti. I wanted my name to be there.
Mm.
And that personalized touch. And she loved it. And how, universe, one thing leads to another, it's destiny. And that time, my friend's best friend's wedding was there.
Mm.
So she wanted me to design her entire jewelry collection, which I did. And I enjoyed the process of designing so much that I was like, I need to get these things made now. I want to get it made because you know how you are,
Yeah, yeah,
that I don't know if the guy will understand what
yeah.
exactly you want or not, perspective wise. So then I got it made and I loved it. And then that's how my company started. That's how I started getting orders.
I mean, of all the things that were there out there for you to choose from, if you wanted to go into business, so you had a thing for designing jewelry since when you were young? It was a passion for you, or it just came to you, or what?
So no, I didn't. Actually, I was always into creative side.
Ah,
Like
okay, okay.
I still remember when I was young, I said my dad, I want to be a fashion designer.
Nice.
And coming from a Jain Banya family, they were like, fashion designer, matlab kapde banayenge kya?
Mm.
He's like, no, no, that's not going to happen. And it was a very weird thing. I had always seen a fashion show where my collection was being showcased.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something, I think I still remember I was in my 10th standard then. I thought it's fashion designing. But actually, when I became like when I got into my jewelry business, I did do a fashion show, which is Jewelry Week.
Mm.
And I think I did kind of get a, I don't know, maybe a deja vu or a premonition that, something like that is
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And yeah, so I think I always was creative, but not really into jewelry designing.
Sure. Jewel Preeti, tell us what it's about. S- which year did you started? How old it is? The range of products that you've got, folks. The Instagram page is Jewels by Preeti. Do check it out. Tell us about it.
So, Jewels by Preeti, it started off, it's a 14-year-old company. I started it on 2010. It was the 30th of October, actually. It's a special day, so you always remember it's like a baby.
Mm.
And it started off on a really good note as well. Basically, I deal that time. Obviously, we had natural diamonds, and I used to deal only in natural diamonds. And so, basically, the diamond collection that I have is a very unique piece. Not all jewelry is designed by me. So we do have jewelry that we have sourced from someone else as well, and a lot of collection is designed by me as well.
Okay.
And I do have very unique, like I feel personally that I have a collection which is suitable for all age groups. So we recently have a collection for babies. Like I've noticed, mothers come and their kids get bored. They're just sitting here, ye wo kar rahe, they get bored. So then we have a really good collection in the range of 15-20,000 with charms, for girls and even for guys. We have those Thor kind of, what do you say, charms like for
Okay.
men as well.
Okay.
And so that is something interesting that we have come up with. We also, our products start off from 10,000 because we deal only in diamond jewelry, not really only gold.
Yeah.
And yeah, it goes up to then, like recently we sold a solitaire of 45 carat piece. So which was somewhere around 8 crores.
45 कैरेट
A
क्या
solitaire.
गाड़ी में लेके गए थे sounds massive. How big is it, by the way? Just
This big.
oh man, where did you source that from? Or you just
So basically, it was from Hong Kong,
okay,
and someone in India wanted it.
okay.
They were looking for it. So such pieces, you just get 2-3 pieces, and you need the right kind of contacts. So then, yeah, we do deal in such pieces as well.
45 कैरेट का आदमी पहनेगा कहाँ पे यार? या औरत, I don't know, but anyway, let's not go into that direction. Lab growns, the talk of the town. Like it has just dominated conversations everywhere. Before we started recording, you told us about how you've got a shop in Delhi. So, you know the Delhi pulse, you know the Mumbai pulse, both the cities, you know how they are different. But this is one topic on which, it's just taken the diamond industry and overall precious stones industry also by storm. If I remember correctly, Modi ji, our prime minister, gave a lab grown diamond as a gift to then President Biden's wife, Jill Biden. And that caught the attention of a lot of people. That also, I think, was quite huge. I don't know if it was 45 carats or what. But, for someone who's watching this show for the very first time, and he's just hearing lab grown diamonds for the very first time, and he just knows natural diamonds. Just walk us through what exactly is this and why is it become so, why are people talking about it?
So basically, Anupam, I think lab grown diamonds are something that's here to stay for sure. Now, let us start off with the difference between a lab grown and a natural diamond. So, basically, lab grown diamonds are diamonds that are made in lab. The process of it is you usually take a diamond crystal plate, which is like so thin. It's like square shape. We put it in a reactor and we set in the right temperature, pressure, and gas. So basically, you're creating an artificial environment in which real diamonds are made naturally. Same way in that reactor, you're creating an artificial environment, and immediately after 6 weeks, you get a rough diamond. And the composition and everything of that rough diamond is exactly the rough diamond you will find naturally on earth.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The price difference.
Huge. So let's say it goes down to, if a normal diamond, natural diamond necklace, let's assume is for 10 lakh rupees. A lab grown diamond necklace of same would be somewhere around 3 lakh rupees.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea.
Yeah. And the more important thing, can anybody make out the difference?
No, no,
Seriously.
you can't.
Unless you take that thing in the eye. I don't know what the thing's.
Microscope and
Oh,
all
yeah.
those things. Yeah. You can't because, I mean, end of the day, the process is same. And the difference you see that takes thousands of years, natural diamonds. And lab grown diamonds take 6 weeks.
And I'm just trying to understand this, right? Because The US apparently is a very big market. I don't know about Europe. And I've read some stuff which where they're saying that in the USA, they are dropping the word lab grown. That's it. Now diamond is diamond. It doesn't matter how it's made, like this or like that. So, what's the opinion? So, there's one thing about the pricing which is there quite obviously. The second thing is that not one of the major jewelry chains in India, not one, even a single one, has launched a lab grown, which is pretty obvious, I assume. Help me out here. Because if they do that, then the natural diamond thing will just go for a toss. Because you're talking about something that's 10 lakhs being sold for 3 lakhs, and nobody can make out the difference. I'm going to a party, and if I'm wearing that, और सामने वाले को फर्क मालूम ही नहीं पड़ रहा है. So, what's happening in the industry?
So basically, I personally disagree that US people should not drop lab from the
Right?
lab grown diamonds, because natural is people who want to buy natural diamonds, then it would be very confusing for the industry itself. So that is one side of it. Second thing is that lab grown diamonds, people are actually not taking out chains, because the big companies that already have chains, they have huge amount of natural diamonds with them, and if they take out this, then they will be at a loss, because unke paas
Yeah, yeah,
sourcing
yeah,
hai.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you
yeah,
know
yeah.
De Beers, I think
Monopoly. DBS has got a monopoly.
monopoly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure De Beers will only not allow anyone to launch their own brands of lab grown diamonds, not chain of lab grown diamonds.
Okay.
Yes, they'll let them be in the
Sure,
market,
sure, sure,
but
sure.
yeah, that I
Yeah, I mean,
think is difficult.
the demand for, let's call them natural diamonds, will never go away. I think that, I don't know whether it will or not, as someone who doesn't buy diamonds for a living or.
I don't
De-
think that's true, Anupam. He actually knew tennis bracelet, so no.
yeah. It- My next question is actually going to be on that. I don't think naturals are going anywhere. I don't know how they'll coexist. From what I hear is that they are coexisting right now. Both prices are falling. Natural diamond prices have also been falling. Help me out. I mean, is that correct? Have natural diamond prices also been falling? Because I would assume that with lab grown, the higher the scale becomes. Like for someone who's manufacturing one lab grown versus 1,000, 1,000,000, the prices will just keep falling. How do you think prices will go from here?
Of natural or lab grown?
Both.
Both. So let's start off with lab grown. Lab grown diamond prices actually went further down 6 months back. After that, the prices have been consistent. I am expecting it to actually go up now. Basically, because what I mentioned was that the wars are taking place. And when the wars are taking place, mining would not be possible. We have big countries like Russia. Even Russia does a lot of sourcing of diamonds. Russia has, they actually export a lot of diamonds. I don't know if people are not aware of that or not, but they do.
Mm.
So Russia is like major country which is in war right now. We're talking about Europe and Brussels, like everywhere the diamonds, it would be a little difficult to source it.
Yeah.
So the demand supply would again be affected by that. It would be more of demand and less of supply.
Okay.
So the market prices of both will go up in next 3 to 4 months for sure, just because of the wars.
Very interesting. Now the fun part. We spoke about tennis bracelets. Now I want you to give our audience a guide of how to buy diamonds. Okay, now, the very little knowledge that I have, diamonds are very complicated to buy. यार अभी देखो मैं स्टॉक मार्केट वाला आदमी हूँ मेरे लिए शेयर खरीदना बेचना तो फिर भी all my life is something that I can understand. Gold also I can understand. 18, 22, 24 gold coin, gold jewelry.
Yeah.
See diamond, I have no idea. Help us through this very difficult, complicated procedure of selecting, choosing a diamond. I don't know, there are 4 C's or 6 C's or 8 C's or 10 C's of diamonds. Please help us there. Go.
So basically, there are 4 C's. Let's start off with cut. So basically, cut is excellent. Go for excellent cut diamonds. So that will basically what it does is the light that is falling in the diamonds and it's reflecting back. So the better the cut is, the more better is the light that is going to reflect back.
Okay.
So go for a really good excellent cut.
Yeah.
Prefer that.
Yeah.
Then color is, it starts off from D and goes up to IJK. So D
Where
E
D
F
is the best and I is the worst.
worst.
Okay.
So DEFGHIJK.
Huh.
And so go for obviously better color, but the price point I would recommend people to go for is GH, which is
Okay.
safe.
Okay.
Because D, I mean, I'll just give you an update of like how the price works. If it's a 1 carat diamond, let's assume D color is somewhere around 8 lakhs. Let's assume the G would be somewhere around 5 lakh,
Wa-
and IJK would be somewhere around 3 lakh.
Wow. Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Okay.
And just for color, you don't need to go for the best unless you can afford it.
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, stick to GH.
Okay.
G falls in the whiter
Yeah.
category. So D to G is white, IJK is yellowish.
Right. Okay. ठीक
So
है.
go for GH, safe side.
Third.
The third thing is
Carrot.
clarity, carrot.
Okay. Let's go with carrot. Yeah.
ठीक है. So carrot is again, it depends on like 1 carat, 1.5 carat, 2 carat. So
45 carat.
40, no, so
Okay.
45 carat, that is for very few people.
But ones and twos are.
Yeah, exactly. So, carat is basically size of diamonds. So anything that is above 45 cents or 50 cents. So then it's like 1 carat, starts off with 1 carat and all. So carat is basically size of diamonds.
Does the price difference in carats also be like the ones in color, like you said, between that? So the
That's
price
a
can be that.
very good question, Anupam.
Okay.
People, so basically, let's assume a person wants to buy 1 carat of solitaire.
Hmm.
I think that person should go for not 1 carat exactly, go for 10 cents lesser.
Okay.
So, because what happens, the price point, the minute it touches 1 carat, it becomes almost you're paying, let's assume if it's 1.5 lakh rupees of for 1 carat and you just go 10 cent down,
Hmm.
which is like 90 cents
Hmm.
हो जाता है वो 1 carat touch नहीं कर रहा है
Hmm.
but 90 cents if you go for that would be somewhere around you would pay at least 30,000 less.
Okay. So I'm kind of assuming here, help me again, that round numbers here make the value really more. So
Yeah,
instead of doing like a 1,
yeah,
if you land up at a 0.9,
yeah,
eyes में ज़्यादा दिखेगा नहीं.
हाँ,
फर्क मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा. You won't make
नहीं,
out the difference between a 1 and a 0.9.
no,
But the price will be huge.
huge.
Okay, cool.
So your pocket wise, you'll be saving a lot of money. And anyways, the smarter thing is that once the diamond is set,
Yeah.
it looks 10 cents more than what it is.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
That's a
so
very that's a nice secret tip you've given us. Okay.
exactly.
3. There's the last one.
So that's last one is clarity.
Okay. Okay.
So clarity is basically how many, in layman terms, dag. So how many, we call it inclusions.
Okay.
So how many inclusions are there in the diamond? So it starts off from IF. IF is internally flawless. No, no, no. It's like a podcast. There's nothing
My
wrong.
God. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Most welcome. So it's like there's no flaws in it,
Hmm.
but it's really expensive. Then there is VVS. So VVS matlab very very slight inclusion.
Hmm.
VS very slight inclusion. And then there is SI slight inclusion.
Okay.
Then there's I1, 2, 3. That means inclusion 1, inclusion 2, inclusion 3. So the best is IF
Yeah.
and it goes down to I1, 2, 3.
Lovely. Folks, cut. Color, carat, clarity. 4 C's of a diamond. You can just rewind a little bit and you'll get what each of them stand for and how to choose a diamond that is relevant to you. Products. What kind of products are there? What are the most sought after? We spoke about tennis bracelets. What are they? There is, I know there are rings and there are earrings, and you can have solitaires from that also. Just walk us through the kind of products that are out there, the most popular ones.
So basically, the best one, see, I think everyone owns a ring. If there's a first jewelry or first diamond that anyone is buying, it's very subjective though, but I would recommend either a earring or a ring.
Okay.
Yes. That's very common. That's something people just buy. They don't really plan or they don't have to tweak a lot with their budget. They can just randomly go and buy. And the most common are these only. And rare things are actually tennis bracelet. Not everyone goes for tennis bracelets. So tennis bracelets are usually bracelets which are just straight line bracelets. They are not in the form of stiff bracelets. So that is something that few people buy. Not very common. People who have been buying a lot of diamonds buy tennis bracelets.
Hmm.
Who सब कुछ हो चुका है necklace ले लिया like you've bought your necklace, you've bought your earrings, you've bought your bangles, rings. So then you go for tennis bracelets.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
See, I know solitaire because of the card game on Windows. बोर बैठता है आदमी तो solitaire खेल लेता है Windows पे थोड़ा. What are solitaires in diamonds and why are they such a big deal?
I wish real solitaires were as easy as the card games.
Okay.
So, solitaires are basically sizes of diamonds that are usually above 50 cents. So 50 cent जहाँ वो क्रॉस किया मतलब आप उसको solitaire category में you can put them on solitaire category. And then it starts off with bigger size diamonds are basically solitaire
Hmm.
above 50 cents.
So they're like single stone pieces or whatever.
Yeah, say solitaire itself means a single big chunk of diamond.
Okay. So, folks, this entire discussion that we have been doing on the types of diamonds, the cut, color, clarity, carat, everything applies to lab growns also. The
Exactly.
same thing that we spoke about in this entire discussion applies to lab growns, applies to natural. Preeti, just help me out here in if there is a very first product, very first diamond that someone is buying, like you just said, start with a ring or a earring. Just help me with the difference out here. Let's talk about maybe a point 0.5 point 0.5, so that's 1 carat earring. Okay, and you can take it in the normal range of the 4 C's that you said. You don't have to go to really low, you don't have to go to really high. What would that cost me?
So are you
Lab
talking
growns.
lab growns, you're
Yeah.
saying? So lab grown, see, I can't exactly tell you because there's a lot of
Go with something
foresees.
that you would recommend. Let's just
Yeah.
flip it in that way, that someone walks into your store and says that this is the first time that I'm buying lab growns. I'm really fascinated by it, and I'm here because the price really appeals to me. Right? What
Yeah.
would you sell this person?
So basically, if that person's, I would first ask about a budget. So let's assume they have a budget of about 1 lakh rupees. So basically, for natural diamonds, if a earring pair you're paying 1 lakh, in lab grown, the natural would be somewhere around 4 lakh rupees.
Wow, that's the kind. So it's the other way around. So what is 1 lakh for a lab grown in a natural could be 4 lakhs.
Yeah,
That's a massive difference.
a huge difference.
Tell me about the generational views on this. Like, are the हम जैसे बुजुर्ग जैसे हैं, हम जैसे थोड़े बुजुर्ग लोग हैं,
दिल से
उनके
जवान.
अरे, I don't think that sounds good these days. But uh, is there a between the same family? Let's say there are like maybe 2 or 3 generations staying under a roof. How are the attitudes towards natural diamonds and lab growns now?
So, see, lab grown diamonds require a lot of education, and that's one of the reasons we are doing that through this podcast. Second thing is the younger generation is more experimental when it comes to diamond jewelry. You'll always find older generation buying for traditional jewelries, the jewelries that they can pass on to next generation, design wise as well. But younger generation is more towards like they want to buy what suits their personality, and that is very subjective. So they are more open to lab grown diamonds, a because they understand the process better, b because they are more experimental, and even as a seller it is very easy for us to design more experimental jewelry when it comes to lab grown, because
Hmm.
that will be easier to sell. but natural diamonds may you will get very few clients who are experimenting with the designs. So then that way is the younger generation is more open to it, and yes, they're bringing on the older ones as well.
Very interesting. You think that the bigger chains, the jewelry chains, will ever, have a separate I lab grown line? Because I know that Tanish Titan basically has invested in one US company which is into lab grown. They don't have a lab grown out here in India as of now, but they have made one small investment in a lab grown diamond producer in the US. You think any of these chains, Tanish, Popley, TBZ, whoever it is, will ever think about lab growns?
They actually, I don't think they'll open a separate chain for it, but I am sure in coming time you will find a separate section in each shops.
Nice.
Yeah,
And let the customer decide.
let the customer decide.
Fantastic. Preeti, so how does your business work in the sense that what are your main cost centers, maybe some indicative margins, and generally what does an average day in your business go like?
So basically, my business, since it's been quite some time I've been doing this, it's a very scheduled, like, everything is very decided. So basically, my day starts off with dealing with my clients, showing them jewelry. It starts off with checking out, what's the latest trend in the market as well. It also starts off with me knowing my client very well. That's a very important part of any business. You have to know your client, and after being in this industry for almost 14 years, once I meet someone within I think half an hour, 20 minutes, I get to know what kind of jewelry they would like. So then you show them what they want or what is their taste, because a lot of times people don't understand that, and they just show what they individually the seller likes. And then you realize the client will walk off, because you need to listen to the client. So that's, I think, one of the things that is very important. Second thing is, I think you have to sell what you're saying. Like, don't compromise on quality. If you're selling someone, everyone comes with a budget, and if they have a certain budget and they're willing to go down on the quality, then tell them that we will be making this in that quality. because diamonds are all about trust.
Hmm.
Aapke, why does your mom or your grandmother, they will always go to that same jeweler?
Jeweler, yeah, yeah.
It's very difficult to break a jewelry client.
Hmm.
That is because of trust.
Okay.
So the main factor, if you're getting into this business, is your trust factor, authenticity should be important.
Okay. And the cost centers that you have, like labor or buying, because I assume that you buy from somewhere and sell to someone. If I've understood that correctly, and if you've got stores and offices, then you're probably paying rent. So rent, labor, buying costs. If you could just help us with broad percentages as to, let's say that your overall cost is a pie of 100, how much would be each cost component?
So basically, I was never good in maths, but I will tell you how the business works. So basically, if you have a shop, you will have your overheads. Let's start off with a rent. If you're in a prime location, let's assume you have a rent of about 7 lakh rupees. If the square feet is somewhere around 800 square feet, and if you're looking at somewhere around, let's assume a good location, I would say Marine Drive in Bombay,
Or high street area, basically.
a
Where,
high street
yeah,
area. A
yeah.
prime location would be this much. So you have to look at your rent cost.
Okay. So rent becomes number one, I guess.
Rent is number one.
Okay.
That's where you're going to showcase your collection. Any person who buys such expensive things always want to go to the next shop.
Hmm.
In case they're not liking what they're seeing in one shop. So it's very important, and especially when you're a beginner and you don't have your set of clients. So it's very easy for you to make clients and break other people's clients if your collection is good. So that's the reason you need to be next to your competitor.
Okay. So we've got rent as the biggest chunk. What else?
Also, I think your staff is important. I mean, a jewelry store would at least have 6 people. You have to look at their salaries. That is one of your overheads. And when you're going to buy a diamond, you need to pay the labor charges. Labor charges vary. When I started, they were really cheap.
Hmm.
Now it goes up to somewhere around 1,000 rupees per gram.
Okay.
So that is one thing that you pay for a very delicate jewelry. But normal jewelry, which is 800 or 850 per gram.
Okay.
So that is something that you look at. And I also have a very good tip for someone who's starting diamond business, but you are the first person in your family who's starting it. Don't get into manufacturing.
Nice.
Don't. It's a very tried and tested thing. I was lucky and fortunate I didn't get into it because in my family I was the first one who was starting it. You might do there's a lot of in-depth things that you would not know, and the price at which you're paying is like even if a karigar takes thoda sa sona powder or diamonds, you're gone.
Wow.
You can't keep track.
So you're saying trading is better,
Trading is
as in
better.
buying from somewhere and
Yeah,
selling somewhere.
because one of my cousins, she started off with diamond business after looking into, she saw me doing it and then she started. So I was not into manufacturing, I was outsourcing it, and she got into manufacturing and she shut down the business.
Wow, that tough. So it's better to, if you're going into the business, trading is better than. Okay. Profit margins on lab grown diamonds. I mean, you're someone that buys lab growns and sells lab growns. What are we looking at out here? Is it like, given the kind of pricing that lab growns have, I'm assuming the margins will be like really thin and therefore it'll be a volumes game. Is my assumption correct, or is it slightly different?
That's trade secret now. So, lab grown margins are huge.
Okay.
It is huge. So normal diamond margins, if you look at any retail outlet, you actually are paying 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. And lab grown is also somewhere around that. At least 40% margins are there, markups are there.
Hopefully over a period of time as it becomes more popular, because for a lot of products what happens is that if it's rare in the first few years or first few during the inception, margins are slightly higher, more players get in, price cutting happens. I don't know, do you think that might happen?
Again, it depends on some people. So that's a very subjective question and a very different business perspective.
Okay.
If a lady is doing it from a house, she would not mind just keeping 10%
Nice.
because there's no overheads.
There's one question that I thought of, that usually the trick to getting authentic, original, genuine diamonds is certification, right? But because when you buy a diamond, you get a certificate from the jewel and that's it. So is that the level of confidence that you have when you buy a diamond, that this is the real thing? That's the first question, if you can answer that.
So yeah, good that you mentioned certification because usually we are trained to say 4 C's of diamonds, but there are two additional ones added. One is certification, second is confidence because
Mm.
it gives you a lot of confidence when you buy a good piece of diamond.
Okay.
So yeah, certification definitely helps you build trust. So if you're going to a new jeweler and you don't know that person well, take a certified jewelry. Also, certification from a good brand like IGI or GIA. Because there are a lot of local people also nowadays, a lot of jewelers have started giving their own certificates. But that's not applicable when you resell it to someone else. अगर आप you're going back to the same jeweler, okay, but if you're selling it somewhere else, then that's not applicable. So it's recommended to go for IGI or GIA,
I think IGI is what International Gemological Institute and GI is Gem Institute
Gemology
of.
Institute of America,
Right. So these two certifications should hold you through.
especially in solitaire pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if someone chipkaus me a lab grown under natural? फिर उसमें कुछ है? Is there any way to sort
Then
that?
that person's future would be like Nirav Modi.
Okay. Um, see, our audience can't run after Nirav Modi, but what can they do if they're buying, to ensure that what they're buying is authentic, it has an IGI or a GI certification, and is not like if they want a natural, they will get a natural, and it's not a lab grown. Is there any way to prevent that, or the certificate is it?
No, no, that's a very good question. So there's a very important trade secret, that is, when you have a certificate. In the certificate, there's a number. That number will be in your jewelry as well. So
Okay.
check that. Your certificate number, whatever is there, let's assume 1234. That 1234 will be in your jewelry also.
So you put that thing in your eye and look for it, is it?
Look for it. It's
Nice.
visible. It's like
Okay.
hallmarked stamp.
Oh, it is visible that
It
way.
is visible. Like it would be like a hallmark stamp. And in
Fantastic.
case if the jeweler is trying to do some trick, this is a way to figure out he's not able to do it.
Trade secret, folks. There you go. All of that only on Paisa Vaisa. Any trends, innovations in the jewelry industry that you're looking forward to?
Yes. So right now there's something called as detachable jewelry that's doing very well. Now you're married, Anupam. Now, when was the last time your wife took out her wedding
हे
jewelry?
भगवान थोड़ा ये सब sensitive question मत पूछ. Go on, sorry.
So when she took out she could never wear her wedding jewelry. I'm sure she
Obviously,
wouldn't, right?
I
Yeah, because they're such huge chunky pieces of necklace.
sure.
So then what we do nowadays is we make them detachable. So now the bride can actually, she'll pay for one necklace and she can wear it on three separate occasions.
Nice.
And she'll have a three separate design.
And that's the trend that's coming in.
That's a trend that's coming. And you spoke about tennis bracelet. So tennis bracelet is like single bracelet that's around your wrist that you wear, and then we give you a separate chain with it, and you can wear it as a choker as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So all kinds of things are happening.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And rings. So we do give you detachable rings as well. You can just remove it, and then there's a loop behind which you can wear as a pendant as well. So this is the latest trend in the market.
Very interesting. Marketing strategies. Any challenges that you've encountered along the way? Any strategies that have proven to be like really good? Any experience on that?
So I personally feel one thing, that when anyone starts a business, you'll hear a lot of times people say ki we have a disadvantage that there's no one to guide us. Trust me, guys, that's actually an advantage, because there's no one to tell you what has already been done. So you can always do something that's not been done. And I'll give you an example for that. So I was taking part in this jewelry week, which is like IIJW, that's like Lakme Fashion Week for jewelry. And it was my first show, my showstopper. Now, everyone associates jewelry with females. My marketing PR team was like, let's hire a female showstopper. And I just had it in my gut that no, I want a male showstopper.
Okay.
And they were like, no, we should go for a female jewelry, sari, all those things. I said, no, I'll go for a male showstopper. And because there was no one to tell me you should go for a female showstopper, and it was like 2012, I had hired Ayushman Khurrana as my showstopper.
Okay.
There were 35 people who had taken part in a span of 5 days in IIJW, and I got the maximum media coverage.
Wow.
Because it was just one male showstopper. So that's one of the trade secrets. You should actually think, if you're the first one doing something new, that's an advantage.
Nice. Okay. So, Preeti, we are done with the bulk of the questions on your business and everything. Now we're just doing some chilled out, some fun questions here. What is the most unique or unusual request you've received from a customer for a custom piece?
Can I wear it to a wedding and return it back to you?
Can I wear it to a wedding and return it back to you? Does that even happen in jewelry for hire?
So I should have said, if let's assume the jewelry is for 25 lakh, I would have said, give me 5 lakhs, it's okay.
What
No,
was the
but
answer to that person?
obviously no. I mean, then people, your best friend would be a diamond person.
Is there a business in jewelry for hire? कपड़े मिलते हैं. I know rent पे fancy clothes and all that you usually. Is there any business opportunity out there?
It shouldn't be. I hope not. Then
Okay,
people of like us will go out of business.
let's get some glamour in. Many famous stars and celebrities have been showcased by Jewels by Preeti. Any unique experience you want to share about any of them? It's not often that we get stars. We talk about stars and celebrities on this show. Here's a chance. Let me make the most of it.
So basically, I remember I was shooting with a celebrity. She actually hinted me that she wants the diamonds for free.
अरे वाह!
Like,
क्या
yeah,
बात
so
है.
it was a magazine cover. And the only hint I'll give is like she's worked a lot with Salman Khan, was in a recent scandal. So she just, she was like, oh, I really love these pulki earrings. I would really, really love. And her makeup artist was like, looking really good on her. So basically, see, it's a very common thing for celebrities to get things free.
Hmm.
But I am a Jain and I'm a Baniya.
Okay.
You have already worn my jewelry on a magazine cover. I'm anyways going to get credit for that. Why would I give it to you for
So
free?
so that request didn't work.
No, 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 it didn't.
Okay. Tell me one thing. What is the role of influencers now? As compared to, the established celebs, actors, whoever it is. What's the role of influencers?
A lot actually. Influencers are more relatable. They don't really seem too made up because they don't have a team of 10 people making them look good. So when you see a influencer wearing anything, you can connect that it will look like this on me. So that's, I think, more relatable. And yes, it affects because I'll give you a personal story. There's this influencer, Masoom Meenawala. She's quite famous. And I had seen her wear a lehenga from Amit Agarwal. I didn't even know the designer 7, 8 years back. And just I saw that and I was like, I bought my all my brother's weddings lehengas were from Amit Agarwal.
Wow.
But that's what influencer does. And later when I searched him, I saw Shilpa Shetty had worn. I saw every all A grade celebs had worn. But we always assume that celebs have 10 people around them. So humpe, we don't know if it will look good or not. But an influencer wearing it, like, oh, she's like me. So I bought it. So I think that's a huge and more impactful.
Diamonds are often considered a woman's best friend and hold a special place over other metals. How do you make your business stand out in so much of competition?
I think the first thing for me is maintaining my quality because and giving a personal touch. So for the longest period of time in Delhi, I had just by appointment basis. I didn't entertain my clients like a walk-in client. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to know my client because if you're paying such a huge amount, everyone wants that personal connection. Up, you're paying 5, 7, 8, 10 according to your budget, lakhs of money you're giving. So I was very conscious to give that kind of attention to my clients. And second thing was that obviously trust factor. All our pieces are certified,
Mm.
and also a good marketing strategy. You need to be creative with your brands. You need to be more, and you need to give. You need to have diamonds for all age group and all genders.
Wow, that's very interesting. Three advice or three pieces of advice for anyone who's watching this show and interested in starting the same business. You already gave one, which was very important, which was trade, do not manufacture, at least for starters. What else?
Second thing I would definitely say is that give authentic products. It is very important in diamond, the most important, I would say. And third piece of advice has to be that you need to market yourself. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. You can't just sit at one place and say कि लोग आके ढूंढेंगे. You have to be in the right location. And आप घर से अगर कर रहे हो, then you have to go and socialize. So you have to market yourself.
Very interesting. Folks, a very important piece of advice. Like I said, the website, the Instagram handle is Jules by Preeti. Do please check it out. That is a wrap on this episode of Paisa Vaisa. My guest, Doctor. Doctor, always doctor, right? Because you earned that degree.
I earned that degree.
Dr. Preeti Jain, founder of Jules by Preeti. Preeti, thank you so much for doing this for our listeners.
Thank you, Anupam. Thank you for having me.